We are still stuck in the house on quarantine, so we decided to make homemade pizza from scratch. So I didn't have all of the ingredients that I really needed, so we had to make do and do some substitutes. So we start out with tomato paste, extra virgin olive oil. One thing I always keep on hand is minced garlic. And I didn't have all of the seasonings I needed, so I did have Italian seasoning, which we'll use, and ground pepper. So, as I mentioned, I did have some tomato paste, but I didn't have the 6-ounce can that the recipe called for. So we're going to use half of this 12-ounce can, and I think we ended up using a little bit more than half of the can, simply because our pizza sauce was a little bit more thin, or it was thinner than we would like for it to be. So we ended up using more than half of the can of tomato paste, but I guess we could have just used less water, but we did end up using more than half. So at this point, we are going to add our water to our tomato paste. And as previously stated, the recipe called for 6 ounces of tomato paste and 1.5 cups of water. But like I mentioned, it was soupier than we would like. We wanted sauce with a thicker consistency, so we ended up using the entire 1.5 cups of water, but we did add more than 6 ounces of tomato paste to our mixture. Now we quickly realized that we needed something other than a spoon to stir, so we got a whisk, and now we're adding 1/3 cup of the extra virgin olive oil. So we are going to mix all of this together with our whisk instead of the spoon, and you can kind of see the consistency as of right now. It's thickening up, but still not where we need it to be, so we are going to continue to stir and come back. So the recipe now calls for 2 cloves of garlic, but as I mentioned, I love garlic, and so we probably added more than 2 cloves with this 2 tablespoons full of garlic, minced garlic. So the recipe calls for salt to taste. So we just put a dash of ground coarse salt in, but we ended up adding a good bit more towards the end of our process. And now we're adding ground pepper. Okay, so this is where we really went off course. The recipe called for a 1/2 tablespoon of oregano, a 1/2 tablespoon of basil, and a 1/2 teaspoon of crushed rosemary. And we didn't have any of that, and we weren't going to the store, so I did have some Italian seasoning, and we put in maybe like 3 sprinkles, as you can see in here. But again, it didn't quite taste the way that we wanted it to, so we ended up putting another full 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning plus a teaspoon of sugar to our mixture. Something else we didn't have was mozzarella cheese, so we had some string cheese and Skylar shredded that up for us. Now, I previously made dough. I did not record me making the dough, but it turned out pretty good. I'll list the recipe down below. So now we're adding our pizza sauce, which turned out pretty terrific. Our mozzarella cheese. We had pepperoni. Ground sausage, and I also added bacon and onions.
Hey guys, it's Skylar here. So my mom was talking before, but we didn't get a picture of the final product because we were a little bit hungry. So yeah, and make sure you smash that subscribe button and turn on your post notifications so you'll see when I post. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.